Welcome to Rio News. I'm Jaime Aparicio.
And I'm Esteban Macias.
This week's top story is a taste of Rio. Madeline Gastelum is at the lower quad with the story.
Hello everyone, my name is Madeline Gastelum and you're here today with us at the 7th annual Taste of Rio fundraising event.
The event, which was previously hosted at Rio Cafe and Mid Quad, had to be moved to the Campus Inn and Lower Quad in part due to the ongoing construction on the Mid Quad, as guests were able to enjoy food, music, and conversation.
This event usually brings us a revenue over $100,000, and this year we offer a lot of scholarship to students. That was last year, but I'm sure this year's scholarship will be even more. To benefit students.
There's a lot of fun things going on today, and a lot of great things are being used with all of the raffle money and ticket money to fund various scholarships here at Rio Hondo College to support the student population.
And a lot of us support Rio Hondo, and there's a lot of things going on here. The Tesla connection, the automotive thing is so cool. The police academy is a big deal for the city of Whittier because a lot of our officers come to the police academy here. So Rio Hondo is really important to us.
Events and fundraisers like this give an opportunity to those students that may have not had one otherwise, and that's always a great thing to know that Rio Hondo cares about the students that much. And I guess you can say everyone here has definitely gotten a taste of Rio. Until I see you next time, this has been Maddie Gastelum with El Paisano News.
Thank you, Madeline, and thank you all that support Rio Hondo students.
School shootings are beginning to become more prominent in the United States, with incidents happening seemingly back-to-back. Wesley Fukuda has the latest on the STEM school tragedy.
On May 8th, a school shooting took place in Colorado at STEM school Highlands Ranch. The shooting resulted with 8 injured and 1 dead. The gunman, Devin Erickson, was captured and has already made his appearance in court. Throughout the court hearing, Erickson kept his head down and spoke very little during the hearing. The only death of this incident was 18-year-old Kendrick Castillo, who tackled the gunman without any hesitation, according to other students. In an interview with Castillo's father, he told his son that if he were in any danger, he should not put himself in that situation which would endanger his life. Kendrick replied to his father that he could not let something like that happen. The parents mourn for their son's death and have mixed feelings about his actions, believing that they would rather have his son be alive than be heroic. Students of STEM school have been calling Kendrick a hero and a legend, claiming that if not for his actions, more students could have died.
If I could trade places with him, I would do it.
And Kendrick's family faces a future without its child.
People say, what can I do? How can I help you? You know what? If you have kids, hug them, teach them to be good kids, and pray.
This is Wesley Fukuda for Rio News.
Our condolences to the families affected by this tragedy.
When a country is left without leadership, where do its citizens turn? Christian Salinas has the latest with the Venezuela crisis.
Many wonder why President Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela has blocked off essential aid from other countries, including Colombia and the U.S., leading to a movement to try and overthrow him and an uprising to try and get him out of power. Juan Guaido has declared himself interim president, as he says the Constitution allows him to declare himself temporarily in power when the president is deemed incompetent.
Tensions have risen between Venezuela's government and its people, leading to riots and protests, with much of that opposition directed at President Nicolas Maduro, whose socialist regime has failed them. Their heavy reliance on imports and their lack of U.S. funds to buy those imports led to shortages such as power, medicine, and even everyday essentials such as toilet paper and water. This is Christian Salinas for Rio Hondo News.
Maduro has blocked off roads and entry points to and from neighboring countries, leaving opposition leader Juan Guaido and the people of Venezuela to wonder why. Why is their leader doing this to the country? Maduro is a socialist who duped the Venezuelan people and is leading their country into the ground with his military totalitarian-style government. For Christian Salinas, this is Real News.
The majority of recent games are free to play, but include options to buy loot boxes to advance the stages without doing any work. Daniel Gomez has more on the new act that can prevent children from spending money without the consent of their parents.
On May 8th, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley introduced a bill called the Protecting Children from Abusive Games Act, a bill looking to crack down on predatory monetary practices in the video game industry. The legislation defines and bans practices like pay-to-win and loot boxes. Pay-to-win practices give players an in-game advantage in exchange for real money. Loot boxes act like slot machines that give rewards at a percentage rate. Hawley and supporters of this bill believe practices like these are targeted at children and not enough is done by the developers to warn parents. Like gambling, loot boxes encourage compulsive spending that can lead to addiction. Hawley even released a video on Twitter breaking these issues down.
And also to be spending their parents' money. So the companies get two things out of it. They get more money, and they get the kids addicted to the game. This needs to stop. They need to be upfront about what their games are actually doing, and they need to stop practices that intentionally exploit children.
Following the introduction of this bill, a video game industry lobbyist group called the Entertainment Software Association released a statement. They listed a number of countries that do not consider loot boxes gambling and defended the parental controls already in place. Despite the ESA's statement, many players and influencers have expressed their support for the proposed bill. This could have a massive impact on an industry whose majority profit comes from these microtransactions. This has been Daniel Gomez with Rio News.
We now go to Jake Lower for the weather.
Good evening. For your weekly weather forecast, Tuesday and Wednesday are looking like going to be mostly partly cloudy with the average temperature being in the 70s and your lows in the 60s. For the rest of the week, Thursday and Friday, it looks like there could be higher chances of rain, so I'll cover up for those days. And then for your weekend, the rainfall looked like it mostly subsided, with it only being a chance of partly cloudy, with the average temperature being mostly in the 70s and your lows continuing in the 60s as well, throughout the rest of the week.
Looks like it's the perfect time to enjoy the outside. I'm Jaime Aparicio.
And I'm Esteban Macias.
Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time on Rio News.